Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another unedited casual garden stroll around the garden with the dogs. We're gonna make it a little bit quick this morning. I don't understand what's going on. Usually I try to film these on Saturday evenings, but for whatever reason, like, we've been social lately. This is so foreign to me that we actually do things on Saturday night. So we were at Oktoberfest last night. I drank a single Modelo. Talk about not getting the point of Oktoberfest. Anyway, I have one postcard to start with, which is this beautiful botanical drawing of a pitcher plant. This is from Mount Desert Island. Erin, I hope your day job brings you here. The sailing is fantastic, and when work is done, the gardens are a true delight. I'm grateful for Linda Votter for connecting us. A special thanks for introducing me to Roy Diblick and Joe Gardner. Sorry. See, sometimes the little UPC thing goes over the bottom and it's hard to read. Something my gardens. Sorry. That's from Karen. Thank you so much, Karen. She's suggesting, what about pitcher plants by the creek? I'd love to grow pitcher plants. My experience with what kind of plants? I know those are all carnivorous plants, but I'm sure there's a classification of them that goes beyond that, something Latin and botanical sounding. Anyway, my understanding is that those are challenging to grow, but maybe not. I mean, I'd love to try them. They're so cool. Anyway, thank you so much for the postcard. To answer your question, I've never been to Mount Desert Island. I have been to other parts of Maine, including the coastal Maine Botanical Garden, which was really lovely 2 Octobers ago. Loved that place. It was very inspirational to me. I hope to get to Mount Desert Island sometime. Okay, let's go tour. Here's, in case you need a size check here, here's Mr. Magnus, who is going to be 4 months old at the end of the month. And Dorothy. Magnus is looking fluffy because he got a bath last night, which was great. I love a clean puppy. Okay, let's stroll. Let's start here with the Rosy Teacups dogwood, because for as much as I rave about this plant during the growing season, when it's in like flower, and this year was in flower for so long, we're actually getting some kind of nice fall color on it. I mean, this is not the most amazing fall color, but it's interesting. And I think it's kind of pretty. So there's one more like feather in the Rosy Teacups cap. By the way, here's future flowers on the ends there. Which way are we gonna go? We're gonna go this way, I think. I think I mentioned this last week. The dahlias are just, I mean, I'm gonna show you this week how bad they are. I keep thinking they're gonna go away, but they don't. Look at, I mean, there's like probably 15 spotted cucumber beetles in there. I guess I should just cut off all the flowers. I did like, at least there was some color, and they don't look terrible if you stand at a distance. That was my theory. Container in the center, it's still looking good. I did go to the pool yesterday and cleaned out the pool pots at the family cottage and rescued more plants. I was not going to save these bromeliads that were in those planters. They were quite inexpensive. I bought them locally, but they grew like crazy. And I'm like, those are beautiful plants to put back in those same planters next year. Shockingly, they loved it in the Crescent Gardens self-watering containers. I didn't think that would happen, but clearly they did really well. So I'm like, you know what? As long as I've got other plants around, I might as well stick them in. Then I also saved these, sort of saved these. Hey, what you doing? So this is this pink batik geranium, pelargonium, and I'm not a big pelargonium fan. Thanks, Magnus, but this one was so good. I did make a little video on my Instagram. I'll put that up just so you can see what the flower looks like. So what I did was I did save the 2 plants. Here's one of them right here. But what I did was I took a whole bunch of cuttings. So we have several cuttings in each of these pots because it was so good that I can see a mass planting of these. So we're going to try that. Who knows? My theory with overwintering some of these things is that I have nothing to lose because I was going to throw the plant away otherwise. So you might as well try. And if you get sick of it or it goes wrong midwinter, you just throw it away. You might notice we have not had a frost yet here. We had frost warnings twice, actually one night this week, and they did not get this close. I know like Dawn, who's Dawn from Seasonal Designs at Dawn, is inland from me, and she did get some frost, light frost. We've not even had a light frost here, which, oh my God, what an amazing, amazing year. You can see I still have not pulled the jasmine out of the window box here. Now, an interesting observation is that the dahlias that are here along the house, which of course do have drip irrigation, seem to be far less affected by the cucumber beetles. I mean, we've got some really beautiful Thomas Edisons here. Those seem to be far less affected by the cucumber beetles. So I do believe, and this has been my theory kind of the whole time, to be honest, I do believe that the cucumber beetles have, I do believe that the dahlias in this garden are stressed from lack of water because it's still super dry. And I do believe that they are attacking the stressed plants, which is, in my experience, how most insects work. Here's another plant, two other plants. There's two jammed in here. I had forgotten that I had put in the soft caress mahonia in the pots at the pool. Such a good plant. Oh my God, you guys, so I pulled them both out and just stuck them both in one pot, and we'll try to overwinter that in the garage because those are questionably, you're not helping, questionably hardy for me. Not questionably hardy. They are not hardy for me. They're borderline. I believe they're zone 7s. So just like the ligustrum, the sunshine ligustrum, also a zone 7. I'm gonna try overwintering both of those in the garage. But I am so in love with this plant, and I thought it was so amazing in a container. I actually am like kind of envisioning that, a lot of that in a bigger container next year. We'll see. You'll notice here, look, everything that needs to be planted has been planted. I just finished that up yesterday. Big moment, I think. Anyway, so everything's in the ground. I'm going to resist the urge to buy anything else just because it's nice. But I feel good about that. And I'll show you where I put a couple of the things. The banana is still just sucking up water like nobody's business. And I'm just going to keep watering it. Keep it happy, and we'll wait for this thing to start thinking about going dormant on its own before I take it out of here. I will say that, I mean, look at how, I don't know if you can see how much of the pot it fills up now. I mean, there's only a few inches on either side of it. It is over the top of this Fiona Sunrise Jasmine, so I probably am going to lose this one because it's kind of eaten when I don't know, we'll see when I dig it out if I can save it or not. But I do have two more in the window box, which is really what I want to make sure I can save. Oh, by the way, let's just take a moment. We do have some beautiful color coming on the maple over here. I think this is a sugar maple. They color up the best, so I'm assuming this is a sugar maple. I'm terrible at IDs, like specific IDs of what kind of like maples and stuff. I can, like most people, I can figure out a maple, but I'm pretty bad at identifying the specific varieties. I mean, overall, I'd say the garden is looking, I mean, I would say shockingly good, honestly, for, you know, the third week in October. I'm just counting my blessings because it's really been, other than the dry factor, it's just been an amazing fall. This is Acer, I always say this wrong. So that's a Aconitum, that's monkshood, the blue, and this is a continifolium, I believe. The bottom here has been, this is all deer browse on the bottom, I think. I hope we don't lose that, but at least it's all at the bottom. If it doesn't come back next year, at least it's at the bottom and it's not that big a deal. There is kind of a large hole in the middle of this tree. I don't know, there's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is. Let's move this way. Oh, it's really windy. I've got the microphone underneath my hoodie, and I'm not a hoodie person, but this is like a newer one, and it's all cozy. Oh God, I love a fuzzy new sweatshirt. I guess it's that kind of year. Look, I've got some more pine needles that I could rake up and use as mulch, actually from my own garden, from this white pine over here. I think I've mentioned this before, that I really need to get rid of the grass where these shrubs are growing here. It's just stupid to have grass there, and that was never the intention to leave grass there. I was just kind of waiting for the shrubs to fill in. I don't quite know what to do about it though. We do want to leave this area back here for mulch drops. Not that I'm going to be using that much of it anymore, but it's nice to have a place to put bulk materials if you need to, right? And this is really the only place where a truck can back into there. Hey, Magnus, Magnus, come here. You gotta stay over here. Thank you. That's a good boy. Thank you. Good boy. I don't know if I want to do like a circle. I don't like just grass just ending. So I don't know if you guys have great ideas about how I define like what sort of shape grass should be there. Let me know. Okay, let's stroll this way. Oh, I've got a bit of a mess here. I have a video coming out that'll explain what that's about. But oh, look how pretty the light is through here. Let's roll this way because this is where we did a little bit of a change. Actually, I think it's easier to see this from the driveway side. So this past week, I think I might have even talked about that we might do this. So what we did was we did remove a little bit of this geranium macrorrhizum in the front here, which had filled up this whole area. So I like this along the edge of the driveway because I think it's a nice transition from the driveway. It's also just a really sturdy, tough plant. It's obviously not going to flop onto the driveway. And when the occasional truck drives across here or when we have to pile snow somewhere, it can handle all that. So I do like a little pathway of that here. But you'll notice we removed quite a bit through the middle here. And here's the plan for this area. Well, first of all, I'm like, what am I going to put there? And I've been kind of like, my brain's been all over the place on it. And then when Michelle from Gardening TLC came up here, oh gosh, about a month ago now, she was super nice and she brought me some plants. And one of them that was a really big surprise was this Joe Pye weed. Okay, now Joe Pye weed used to be Eupatorium and now it's got it's another one of those plants that's been reclassified, but you might know it as Eupatorium. I guess you're modeling. Okay. Anyway, it's baby Joe Pye weed. So I've grown little Joe Pye weed, which gets about 4 to 5 feet tall. Regular Joe Pye weed gets like 8 to 10 feet tall. But baby Joe Pye weed gets like 30 to 36 inches. And I love Joe Pye weed. Also, by the way, Joe Pye weed likes a moist area. And this area over here is thankfully very moist. So the water situation should be fine here. We also have some thalictrums in here, one there and one there. They might both be Ellen, I think. Well, hang on, there's a tag on this one. I know one of them is Ellen for sure. This is Ellen, and I think that one is too. So what we're gonna do here is fill in this next spring is the next season. We're gonna fill in this area with a few more colorful perennials, which I'm lacking in this part of the garden. When I planted this, I thought this was gonna be more shade, and honestly, if you look that way, you can see there's a fair amount of sun that'll come through here, especially, that's basically like southwest right there. So we get a good, and all of these trees are dying across the way here. In fact, all of them look like they're dead. I can actually see bark. This is more ash trees dying. That's what happens here. So I'm looking for some things, like I think we'll put some echinacea in here. I think we'll put in possibly like a perennial geranium, not this one, that known for its flowering. I don't like Roseanne, so it won't be Roseanne, but maybe a flowering geranium. I want some stuff that's gonna be blooming here earlier in the year, like in June. The Joe Pye weed's not gonna do anything until August, so I wanna make sure that we've got some seasonal color in here. Anyway, that's me talking through way too long a plant. So once again, Erin, finish your sentences. I'm just talking way through too long about this plant because it's still kind of being formed in my head. Oh, I also stuck one kind of in the middle. I cleared out a little bit of the Pycnanthemum muticum, mountain mint, plant of the year for next year for Perennial Plant Association. I put one of those in there, which I think will be good. And so we've got some room here to plant some other things, including, a little bit through here, although that needs to be shorter because as this dogwood, it doesn't help if this dogwood, this is big apple dogwood, grows, I'll limit up a little bit from the bottom, but this will be, it'll get quite horizontal. A lot of dogwoods grow upright first and then go horizontal. And I think you're seeing that with the rosy teacups now. And you certainly see that with the Cornus moss, which is the cornelian cherry dogwood, right here, which started very upright. And now we planted this. It was quite mature when we planted it, but we planted this in 2020. And now you can see it's really starting to go horizontal, which I love. My whole plan was I wanted this, to just kind of nip the edge of the driveway and to come over the creek a little bit here. So I'm really happy about that. You can really spot how much lily of the valley has gotten in here when you see the lily of the valley fall color, which is yellow. I still think I can kind of manage it mostly by hand pulling through here. That's the plan, or the hope anyway. Boy, the grasses, this is andropogon. Something's wrong here. This is like, it's like all dead on top of there. That kind of looks like ants to me, doesn't it? Like, what would make the crown? Oh, yeah, it's ants. But I bet you it had the problem before the ants came. I bet you the ants aren't the problem. That's a bummer. Because now after I gave you guys the tour of my mom's garden, now I'm like really want to put some more ornamental grasses in. Let's just give a big heads up to this Penn Hill watermelon dahlia that is like, look at my beautiful bloom. Pay attention to me through the fence. In fact, look at the size of this one down here. I just kind of stuck it in the corner over here. I think it was one of the mislabeled ones or unlabeled ones, but it's like, pay attention to me. And so there it is. Oh, Agnes. Sorry, I tripped on the puppy. Here is a seedling of the little boss clematis that seeded itself in the gravel here. I've never had a clematis reseed for me. I know it's not uncommon, it just never happens for me. But I've sort of let it grow up the fence. I'm not opposed to it at all. I like it. I'm gonna come in and pull out the Persian shield in this pot today and then put my mulch in there to mulch up those clematis. They did not quite bounce back and grow as much as they did. Remember, I had to repot them this year. So if you remember that whole thing way back in April or so. This garden actually starts looking better, I think, in autumn as some of these plants get a little bit of yellow foliage too. I just want to talk about the Chansmathium latifolium, the northern sea oats. When I planted these, everybody was like, watch out, they really spread. They do. And then I saw, Laura at Garden Answer planted some by her stream, and I saw a lot of comments where people saying, oh my God, be careful what you do. Okay, I'm waiting for the spreading. They're no bigger than they were last year when I planted them. So did I show you that I planted a little evergreen here? Soft serve Chamaecyparis. It's caged so we can make it through winter. It's questionable whether there's enough sun here, but I think there is. Again, we're kind of that same angle that we were along the driveway there. And I think I showed you this tree from the other side. To my knowledge, we are getting this tree taken out right here. This kind of straggly spruce that is not in good shape and is just interfering with a nice spruce and the maple tree. All right. These alliums in this garden, no, this is where Roy planted up. I think it's Summer Beauty and Shorty Eye. He planted in, and I might have even stuck a millennium or two in here. I think they're really interesting now with the seed heads on them. I mean, this is not, one of the reasons I like millennium better than Summer Beauty is that I feel like it holds its seed head a little bit better. But I still think this is kind of an interesting look. It just shows, I think, that my gardening tastes have changed so much because 10, 15 years ago, I'd have been like, cut it down, that looks like trash. But I like it now. I just think anything interesting it's good. Okay, so I think it's easiest to show you this by walking through this garden carefully. This is the recently planted shade garden-ish, woodland garden-ish. Okay, when we look across, I've started working a little bit on the slope on the other side. So what we did was we moved some of that geranium macrorrhizum right along the bank. The hope here is that helps stabilize it. And there is geranium macrorrhizum up on the top there that, so this kind of blends in. We also transplanted some irises, but I think what I'm going to do is I think the clumps are too big there, so I think I might go in there and divide those clumps further and stick those on there. Then in spring, we'll get some more Russian cypress and bring some Russian cypress down. That should help. I don't know, we're just going to see. And of course, it's all going to depend on how much rain we get in spring and whether this all like washes out again, because that's essentially what happened. I mean, you can see down here, there are plants that were up there that are now at the creek bed. So we've got great blue lobelia syphilitica there. We've got some palm sedge in there. There's a whole bunch of myosotis in there, which I did not plant, forget-me-nots, that have come down the stream. So there's just nothing left of any of the hostas, which is fine. I'm going to cut all the stems back here real soon. Anyway, see, this is the Millennium Allium. No, is this Millennium? Yes, this is Millennium Allium. And look at how much nicer the seed heads hold on this than on the Summer Beauties. It's a big difference. There's a lot of seeds in there. I don't find that Millennium reseeds a lot. Some people do. I know Heather from Here She Grows said she noticed a lot of reseeding. I've never noticed a lot of reseeding in mine. I did continue the alliums down here. I bought more alliums. Did I tell you this last week? I bought more from Home Depot, and then I divided each of them into like 3. So it was on sale for $5 for a gallon pot. Oh, Magnus, watch your head, man. Sorry. Ow, 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 ow. No, 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 no. Hold please for puppy craziness. I need to deal with some misbehavior here. Okay, you know how puppies get like the crazy look? Like when they need to have the zoomies and you need to press the reset button, he got that. And so like you have to take a moment to calm that down or else it's not good. Such a gorgeous, gorgeous dahlia. I think I ordered this from Brex, guys, and I can't figure out which one it is, but it's a saver for sure. It's like almost an obnoxiously bright color, which if you can't have an obnoxiously bright dahlia, like what can you have? Everything else just kind of status quo here, to be honest, because we haven't had much change in the weather in any regard, including rain or frost. And I'm, again, very thankful. Oh, I did do a little bit of, oh, hang on. Let's just show the aster, which is now in full bloom. This aster that I've been showing you for 4 weeks now. I mean, it's so beautiful. However, I will say that in my notes for next year, in addition to caging this, I'm also made a big note that this needs to get divided in spring because it's just kind of spreading all over the place over here. I will leave a large clump here because I love it, but I mean, this is tiny quickfire in here and it's eating all the quickfires, and so division necessary, and I made a note the time to do that would be spring, so we'll do that then. But I mean, you can see now why it's worth it, because the whole thing is just covered in flowers. Got a zinnia finally making an appearance. I've stopped deadheading the dahlias, so where there's seed heads, I've just left them. Magnus, where are you? Magnus! Magnus! Good boy. Hi. Good boy, thank you. You don't need to be in there. Like, I'll cut back, obviously. This is the last hosta standing, I think. This one and the ones around the serviceberry. Everything else has pretty much been demolished. I did plant a rose. So I feel terrible. This is a rose that actually I was sent in spring, and I've been growing it in a pot. I did bump it up in pot size, but I've been growing it in a pot. Finally planted it. I hope it's okay. And I hope it's okay in this spot. Roses don't get that tall for me here, so I'm hoping tucked under here will be okay. It's a really pretty rose. It's, well, you can see they sent a tag. Oso Easy and Fuego. I do like that Oso Easy series. So, and it does have a really beautiful rose hip on it. I mean, look, this orange rose hip is gorgeous on there. So I did do, that was one of the last things got planted, was that poor rose that should have been planted ages ago. I hope it makes it. Hey, I'm just dropping this in after I filmed this because I forgot to mention something. So when I said I planted that rose, I did have to remove some of that lamb's ear that was in there. So I just brought it back to this part of the garden. This isn't a fair amount of shade back here, so it'll be interesting to see how it grows, how far we can push it. You know, I was dividing that anyway. Got nothing to lose by trying to transplant it here, but I wanted to point out this plant, which is, you know, I'm pretty sure this is a carex. It's a sedge of some kind, and it just popped up here. And it's really quite attractive. I think it's got really pretty shiny leaves, and you can see that they're, you know, they're kind of folded. I'm curious if any of you carex experts recognize this plant. I'm assuming it's a native to my area, southeastern Wisconsin, because that's why it would be here, I suspect. So curious if anyone has an ID for me on that carex. I like it a lot. So I think I'd like to know what it is. Thank you very much. Back to whatever's left of what I now realize was kind of a rambling video. Sorry about that. So that's the tour here, I think. I don't think there's like a lot of other things to show you, because like I said, we're kind of in this status quo mode, which is great with me. If I can keep them get out of the sun, holy smokes. By the way, big project day today. That's why I'm trying to get this video out. We have a huge project today. You'll see it. It's not a complicated project. It's just a lot. So that's on the agenda for today. So we're in full work mode for this. All right, that's it. Have a great day in your garden. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys soon.